look at Octavia. It's some DJ. I think I'm gonna. Is it coming from you, man?
Yeah, it's coming
Sound.
from you.
Can
DJ?
you mute, please? Thank you. So Angie came up with the idea of having Octavia's Twitter, and we talked about it in our team as well. We've got Katie here on the stage too. We've got Joe on the stage. We're thinking about starting Octavia's Twitter. We want to do it together with you guys. I think this should be like a community-based kind of initiative that goes forward, and we're here to kind of talk about the advantages of having it and how that would go. So let's confirm that it's recorded. Are we recording video? Yes, the recording started. Oh, all right, the recording started. Cool. Let me turn on my camera as well, and let's talk about it a little bit. Recording stages, you've got the comments, guys. If you're not on the stage, you can contribute with comments. Daniel, you were the one that wrote first about this in the founders chat. And I want to read what, your thoughts first as well. And we can go from there too. So Daniel said that Octavia's Twitter should follow the story progression and slowly evolve. At first, it has to be restrained, soulless, as is expected of citizens controlled by eCorp. Little by little, we can hide some small hints of inspiration and creativity coming out of her own tweets. Alongside the progress of the story that we're writing, she starts to get bold. Eventually, even using such as in real life, her Twitter to create the revolution or recruit others and spread creativity. But as always, has to be done in a smart way. Has to everything Corp not to take her account out. It's like a fight, like a chase, like a hunt. Let me pause this here. Go ahead.
The idea there, because at least when I read about the whole idea of the Twitter, I wasn't in the space at the time, so I thought it would be actually as if it is Octavia's posting, right? I'm not sure if what's the time frame that we're gonna plan for that. If it's already Octavia after the story is finished or in the beginning of the story. But then I thought that it could be a interesting How is the name of that ARG, the type of augmented reality games that you kind of cross over a game or story into the real world? So we do that, right? So since everything Corp controls the creativity and everything that people can do and all their lives, they would also control Twitter, right? Of course, they would be very strict with what people do on Twitter and keeping a look if people are being too creative, people are being too liberal and etc. So she cannot simply start already posting a lot of colorful things and being very open about her creative soul, because if she ever does that, not only they're gonna take out her account, they'll probably take her out, right, or in her whole family. So
I realize right now that when it comes to the evolution of the lore, as I told you guys, we've gotten beyond what was presented. Artemis created more lore that we haven't revealed yet. I think having Octavia's Twitter gives us the opportunity to explore that part of the lore on Twitter, and I like that dynamic. And there are parts of the lore that should evolve in the future. And most of you, the ideas that I've read and the things I've seen on Twitter are really scenarios that we can have for Octavia as we kind of build on top of what we already have. My question here would be, because in terms of what's going to be the direction of the account, that's something that has to go hand in hand with the lore for sure. And I believe that the first step for us would be to reveal what we've got in terms of the lore so far, together with our founding members. And we're looking to, to have kind of the first chapter of the story, as I've said, finalized, and that's working also hand in hand with our campaign for the founding members classes. They have meaning. So in terms of the content direction of the account, I think that has to be also established more granular at a different kind of founding member stage. And we can have that at the moment we reveal the whole lore. But my question here, and this is what I want to get out of this meeting as well with you guys, is action items to create the Twitter and to see what would be the benefit of having it, right? Why are we doing it? To get a little bit more, just utility oriented when it comes to this account and how we're going to manage it together. Angie's here as well. She had the idea, as I said first. So I really like what you said, Daniel, and I took the notes. I took your message in Discord and I put in notes. I think the best way would be to, when it comes to lore, all right, you're leaving. It's late for you, right?
I just wanted to say, you were talking about utility for the project in itself, right? I think it can also
for the brand,
gather a bit of the curiosity of the public. because there's a lot of projects like not only Web3 but on Web2 as well that work with that, right? Like they entice the curiosity of the public and they make the public try to look for answers, and therefore they end up finding the main website, the Discord, and the whole lore and etc. Right? So we don't
I absolutely love this.
expose
Yes.
everything. But yeah, I just
What?
wanted to quickly join and say my idea and say hi to you guys because I promised, but I need to sleep. It's 2:10 a.m. and I'll wake at 6:50.
I can imagine, man. Thank you so much for thinking around for so long. Have a good night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Love
Get some
y'all.
rest.
Yeah,
Much
tomorrow I'm
Take it
gonna
easy,
be more
Daniel.
active here.
Yeah,
And
don't
Junior,
worry.
you're
active
just
all the time,
flexing,
man.
mate. You're just like...
Look at every time, man. Every time. You know, it's been like a month already. Every time he's at the beach, showing us the beach. Like, yeah, he made it.
You gotta do when you're in Florida.
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked what Daniel said, guys, because I think we can use Octavia for our campaign when it comes to the passes, but as well the lore and the brand itself. Like we have the creators Twitter right now, which we kept public for the past 2 days. As I told you guys, we wanted to try and see the number of views that we've had for one of the first posts with the pendant. It came after the profile was private for a while, and then we've seen like more than 100 retweets, and the views were very low. So we kept it public, and we're looking at posting more as well from that account, as you guys voted on a poll that we dropped. And having Octavia Twitter, I think changes that a little bit because some of the content should go there, in my opinion. It's about visuals also.
It will be completely different content though. So
Yeah.
I'm just thinking.
How would you see it, Angie?
Like with the creators, it's like your morning spaces, updating, telling people a new form that needs to be filled out, or like this tweet to get rid of. I don't know, like more business, work related posts like you have been doing. And then with Octavia, we can actually create someone in AI that could be like this influencer that's trying to make Web3 a better place.
You want to
just
have
tweet.
Octavia as a Web3 virtual influencer. I like how that sounds.
Well, might become something like that. If her account blows up and she can just say she could be like an AI influencer. Sorry, Tina. What did you say? Did she say something? No. Okay.
But, we can't hear you properly.
She's shrugging.
I like this idea as well. It kind of resonates with the direction that Chilpil had, the trajectory from a Web 2 artist to a Web 3 virtual influencer in terms of its brand, and I like it. I think what you mean by having like an AI Octavia. Do you mean like using AI to generate most of her story visually as well?
Yeah, just everything AI. Obviously not her tweets as much, but
not the written content here. I'm talking about the more like the visuals.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be cool. And then also the way she looks. So you can actually put a face to Octavia. And in my mind, she's got black hair with blue eyes. In Chill's mind, she's got silver hair with green eyes.
Who knows? Yeah.
What does Khaleesi look like?
I see where you did that.
Yeah, but we actually put a face to the name. And she becomes this Web3 AI influencer that's trying to make Web3 a better place.
I'm taking some notes as well.
Obviously following the law.
Yeah. In terms of the written content, that's what I'm saying. Like we've gone beyond what you guys have seen, and Artemis created the story that we're working to finish. But in terms of the visual content, I think that's important, especially if this is going to be community-based. We need to make sure that it falls, within the same kind of area as the graphics we're going to use for creators. So Release is part of the same world. So that's one of the key aspects here, in my opinion.
Oh,
hello, Sid.
You know what we could? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so based off of what Angeliki just said, like that's a crazy idea because like what if we treat Octavia's account as if she's in modern day right now, but she's living in the black and white city. So she's on the ground floor in our lore, but she's still jumping on spaces. She's still tweeting GMs. She's still an influencer in Web3, but she's lives in the black and white city, suppressed of color, of creativity, and she's trying to get out. And it's like so like that way the creator's account can retweet all of her stuff as the lore, but it's not coming from the creator's account. Like creator's account still stays as, you know, an account, you know, typical account, so like less tweets, less ground floor, but like this way she can tell the story. It puts our story like in the now, you know?
So is there going to be an E Corp? Is there going to be an E Corp Twitter too? And why somebody should have an E Corp Twitter that's like, I'm looking for Octavia or something like that, but never tags them?
Saying in the chat that this is exactly what she was thinking as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if we want
Octavia
to
account. Go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, man. Yeah, like if we want to use Octavia as like a first-person kind of view into what's happening as the story unfolds, because creators kind of like, you know, we have the lore, but it's like we're reading the story. Like we have the lore documents and stuff, but we could use Octavia's Twitter to be like things that are happening slowly, like day to day, and it's like things are unfolding in real time as we drop more lore and shit. Junior, you look like you have something to say.
Yeah.
So-
Joe.
Oh, go ahead, Ann. Sorry.
I was just agreeing with Joe.
Yeah, Junior, go ahead, man. I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay, so
Junior, you're on mute.
I'm not on mute. I'm on mute?
No, man, you're good.
No,
You're good.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So on Octavia's Twitter, right? Do y'all have a video specialist that can like post like flashback memories of what life used to be like, and just sporadic, you know, sometimes post these little flashback videos on Twitter? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that'd be crazy. That'd be so
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah, just like, you know, what life used to be like before E-Corp, before the everything Corp took over. So, you know, the tweets would be in color, right? Like the little video clips would be in color of what life used to be like. And then, you know, gradually over time, the videos would get like, you know, add more gray, and then more gray, and then more gray, and then that opens up present time.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I love that idea with like the flashbacks too. And also like I'm reading the some of the comments, and I agree when I say she's like, and when I say influencer, I don't mean like influencer on purpose. I mean influencer on accident. Like, so she's a normal girl, she's living in the black and white city, but like, you know, to escape the black and white city, she like has figured out a way to hack into, you know, Twitter and jump on spaces, and like that's where she chats with all her friends, you know, and like eventually, I mean, just the fact of the conceptually, when people start realizing what's happening, like her account's gonna blow the fuck up, especially if we're using a bunch of AI and a bunch of like the content is like all in black and white except for flashbacks. Like that's kind of crazy. Let me ask a quick question, Angeliki. When you first had this idea, it was because somebody named Octavia was in a space. Like, can you explain the emotion and like the feeling you got, and like, you know, what you hoped when you clicked on the thing, you know, you would find, and you know, from like that first person view of like, how did you experience finding Octavia's Twitter that even sparked this idea?
Angie, you with us?
We lost her.
Yeah, I think we lost her as well. Guys, for me as well, there is another
Sorry.
important question here. Oh, all right.
Oh, she's back.
Sorry, my dogs opened the door. I had to.
It's all right. Don't worry.
Sorry, what did I miss? Out of breath.
Sydney was asking you something, like when you came up with this idea, you actually noticed someone on Spaces that was named Octavia, and that's how you came up with the idea. And I think his question was like, what was your like vision at that time? on her Twitter.
So I completely agree that she should be a normal girl. We don't want her to go off the law, like who she is in the law, and she comes from like tough times. Oh, I'm out of breath. Sorry, guys. And she comes from tough times. She should stay with that. She's automatically going to become an influencer because people are going to say, what is this girl looking for? Why are the creators posting? What did she find? That's this relic. What does it have to do with Web3? And yeah, she should stay. She shouldn't be a basic bitch. So excuse my language. She should be Octavia, like somebody amazing that is on a quest. This beautiful story.
I want to add something, guys, which I think it's the important thing here as well. If we are to move forward and take some action items from this stage, when it comes to the content that Octavia will post or how she's going to be, most of the things that I've heard so far have to do with our lore. And of course, if we're looking at Octavia's Twitter as something that our community members will see, and kind of the content will be geared towards them, the ones that are already familiar with the lore, I think we have enough of that. But my question to you would be, how it's going to be for Octavia, like her entrance on Web3 Twitter, right? If we want to grow her account, even if we ask everyone here to retweet us and get followers, there is just so much you can do without taking like further action in terms of the strategy for the growth of the account. We want the account to grow. How are we going to do that? How is Octavia going to be perceived by the larger community that doesn't know the lore, for example? That would be my question. If you see Octavia's tweet and it's something that has a lot of context, if you know the lore, for some people it might be like a little bit confusing. So I think we need to really define a starting point to introduce people to who Octavia is, but also make it in such a way that's fun and it's a funny account. Especially when you start a new account, it's really important that you get in people's replies if you want to grow, and that you post engaging content with visuals and kind of are strategic about it. Otherwise, if we picture this for being just a product for our community only, and we're gonna try to maybe just give it some more visibility through retweets and interactions, then that's easier. But if we're gonna use this as well, and this is gonna be one of our assets, this needs to be strategized. And that was my question. A little bit of a longer question, but you get what I'm saying.
I agree.
Basically, could we not look at this as a social experiment? Especially if you're talking about making a Web3 media company. If we were to look at making Octavia we just pretend she's a real person living out the story, build her Twitter account like organically, like any of us have been. Make her go into the Web3 spaces, make her get noticed over time and build a community around her, then make her into this interesting character that people want to follow and understand why she's in that space, why is she going into that space. Obviously, we need someone to play her as a character so that they can talk in the spaces as well. But I just thought about taking it a bit further and just, if we're talking about a Web3 marketing agency, this would be an amazing social experiment.
I love the social experiment wording that you've used. And I think this is how it should be looked at.
Very true.
To get more granular on this, I think we need to define, all right, let's say we find a representative for Octavia. I'm really sorry, guys, bear with me one moment, because in this part of the world right now, even if you live in an apartment building, there are priests knocking on your door singing, because apparently there is a celebration and you need to let them in.
Amazing.
I apologize for that. I had to shut the door because I can hear the music. So
I have a question for everyone
go
on
ahead,
the stage. How many of you are familiar with who Bobo is?
Can you link us?
Bobo the Bean Farmer?
Azuki fella.
From Azuki?
Yes.
Yeah, Bobo the Bean Farmer.
Yes.
Great example.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally, it's definitely a good example to follow, and I've loved seeing, how Bob would develop, and
Yes, Dom, that's where
I think when we talk about, Octavia, it's really important to know the moment when we introduce it to the public, let's say, because the way Azuki used Bobo, it was literally about. Is it me or I'm hearing sounds right now?
I'm hearing also sounds. I don't know who's coming.
DJ, can you mute, please? DJ. Or maybe DJ?
All right, if I mute, is it just for myself? No, right? I can
No.
mute him on the stage.
Or just
I
take him
hear
off the
it too.
stage.
All right,
Take him off the stage.
I muted it like on the server. It's fine. I think you shouldn't hear it.
Yeah, no, it's good. So we introduced Bobo as a way for people, for the community to see lore through the eyes of someone who is part of the lore, through the first person. So that's literally how I see Octavia as well. Just take it up even another level, because I do feel like Bobo has played out, and he's not. Right now, I feel like he's just feels like an AI profile to some extent. What I would love to, is seeing Octavia grow. She's this young girl that's basically, just 18 years old or whatever, and she basically, she finds something, and her life literally changes. And I was always a person who was really interested in character development and growing together with the character. When you read books, when you watch movies, when you watch TV series, one of the most fun things to acknowledge is seeing the change in the character. Sometimes you love them, sometimes you hate them. So I feel like just seeing Octavia as this social experiment, it can be really, really interesting. It's about getting the right person, let's say, behind the account, who would be, willing to explore all possibilities in the way Octavia, develops together with whatever we're doing with creators.
I like that. Let's look into this as well. I think in terms of the action items would be, let's create a Twitter. I think Artemis is writing as well in the chats. I see her in the chats as well. We act like Twitter is an underground app that we access through VPN and hacking. After all, Web3 Twitter does feel like a separate hidden corner of the internet. It does. It actually does. So there is a lot of chat going in the comment section, guys. And I think we have a lot of ideas with regards to what could be Octavia's direction on Twitter. Who wants to get involved from here?
I was going to say,
to help
just
with
quickly,
managing the account. Yeah,
I was just going to add to that as well, because I think it's quite interesting. I watched the video that UF Control sent, about Cloverfield, and I kind of like this idea, this concept of the alternate reality game. But maybe this is just like an alternate reality kind of social presence kind of thing, which we get submerged into as well. And I do think it's kind of interesting in terms of like, how Octavia may just be kind of like, a normal person that just has kind of like a Twitter account, not a huge presence, but then something obviously happens that she posts, she doesn't really think about. And it's kind of like the next day she checks her phone and, there's like 1 million views or something. And, all these questions, all these people following her and stuff like that. So something kind of blows up. And then, that's kind of like where she's kind of a bit more, sort of like careful about what she's posting and stuff. And, there's other stories that come out, people contacting her and developing, like to kind of create this kind of network, right? And this kind of like underground kind of network that kind of erupts from it as well. So I think there's a lot of meat there for kind of developing that into Twitter as well. What exactly did she tweet, that has gone viral, and that's the thing that's going to get kind of like the presence to her account as well, is how extreme that that thing that she tweets out. And that's something that we can really push as well from our accounts and from everyone else, and say, oh my god, what's happened, blah blah, and stuff.
Let's talk a little bit about Space's presence. I feel like nowadays, if you really want to grow and get people kind of immersed with story of your account or whatever, you do need some Spaces presence. And that's a little bit tricky because we need to choose a representative, at least for Spaces, but also choose people that will be involved with, with helping us with content creation. So my question right now would be, I think the best way actually is for me to just do a Google form right now, posting it in the founding members announcement channel. The same way we post it right now in the general announcement channel. We have a Google form for whoever wants to help us extend the time for our talk show, especially in the morning. I think we should do the same for Octavia and get ourselves organized, create a Twitter account as well, claim a handle, and start. We need to get going. We need to get people together that can get involved with the account and spend time together with us. And from there, I think we can also have this like weekly founding member stages as well for half an hour or 45 minutes where we just discuss what's going to happen on Octavia's Twitter. So let's go a little bit over the comment. Tensi says she's concerned about becoming kind of a forgettable and cliche account like pet Instagrams. I'm not sure what could make it a real standout. I think the answer to that is Spaces. Twitter Spaces presence gives a human touch to the whole account. It's a real person.
And what I see that helps a lot at the moment in Twitter in general is at the beginning be really mysterious. I mean, like E-Corp.
You can be. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, if she names E-Corp in the first like 5 tweets, people are gonna be like, yeah, what is it? And they want to get more involved to know what it is, because if you're using terms like other people don't know, you're gonna get attention.
Yeah, that's really interesting. You know, I was holding my hand up.
I like what Chewy was saying.
Holding my hand up in
a
the
lot, and I think if she had to be like, I don't really like the word influencer because I'm not a fan of most influencers, but will have a huge following. Eventually, curiosity will build. That was basically the main thing. And what it could start off with is like what Chewy was saying, where she tweets and she says, I've discovered that my first step should be, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to think of something. Like I discovered that this is the place where I should start unraveling clues about whatever. And then I found and then the next tweet, the reason why I'm here is because I found something under the floorboard. And then, and you can, each tweet should be engaging. It should almost be like a question or get people to engage. And then the next one is, do you, actually, I'll think about it. I need to, but what would be nice, Chill, is if we did have like a founders page for it, like a Twitter channel in Discord just for Octavia. And we should have at least like a month or a few weeks tweets planned. And people can just have a look at the tweets and give their input and say, okay, I don't like that. This is the way she's perceived. Maybe we should change it a little bit just to get the theme and the feel of Octavia. But as time goes, she'll start developing an identity. And I think once we see the rest of the law, we'll have a bigger picture of what we
I really
can
like
do.
that, Angelique.
I love that idea. I have a thought real quick based off of that is I think it might be really powerful if we put ourselves in the shoes of Octavia in the black and white city and logging into Twitter for the first time, and how, as like herself, how she would tweet, and like, so it like, I think like filtering it like 50% like normal girl just logging onto Twitter, like, you know, what does everybody do on Twitter, you know?
Yeah.
And then 50% like lore, like, oh my God, I just found something just happened. So it's like that intrigue meets this, like, I'm not sure if this is real or fake, you know, idea from onlookers. Something else I was thinking about, and like this is just me throwing out ideas for account growth, but drama sells. Drama fucking sells. And so if there's some kind of drama, like if there's some kind of drama where like, I mean, like the first thing I thought of was like, you know, what's going on with Moishi right now, where like the dude like is like throwing him under the bus for not letting him on not letting him on Spaces, but like everybody's talking, tweeting, retweeting, like has something to say about that. So like it would be interesting. It would be risky, but it would be interesting to like think of this as like, is there any kind of like drama? Is there any kind of like entertainment based initiative that will help spearhead the initial first couple tweets or the first 100 followers on the account?
That's cool. And
Maybe
you know
she starts
what?
being
Like, we
with
don't.
Choco.
That's cool.
Yeah, the form right now, guys, and I'm dropping the form. I created a channel with Octavia, so it's accessible to all of you that are holding the founding members role. What, Junior? Yes, you're rugging really hard, at least for me, because you're in freaking Florida for a month, man. Get back home, for God's sake. Anyway, yeah, your internet has been an absolute disaster on Spaces also. You have to think about it, man. Come on, either get Elon's satellite internet or move to a better place. Alan was saying a couple of things. Now, no, we can hear you. Do you want to talk? Please do.
Yeah, you should let me talk while I'm not rugged. So here's what I was thinking. So check this out. So is Octavia's Twitter, I kind of picture it like
But Sid, I just wanted to say, like, if Octavia,
am I rugged?
the whole point is for her not to be
No.
on.
Can you hear Junior?
I think Angie has people muted.
Junior, then go on his name, right click, and see if you have him muted, because he was speaking and you cannot hear him, and that creates a little bit of double dialogue.
He's not muted. I'm going to leave and come back.
All right. Yeah, Discord is great, but also sometimes annoying. Junior, go ahead, please.
So, all right, so I kind of picture Octavia's Twitter like the lady from Titanic, right? Where it's been 88 years, right? And the whole Titanic is about flashbacks. So you could start off as present day, right? Like they did in Titanic. But then the first couple tweets could be present day, like it's dark and gloomy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then move on over to flashbacks, like videos and tweets and stuff. But Sydney said create a drama, right? So that's when the founding members come into play and start the drama with Octavia. You know what I'm saying? And then the founding members, everybody's going to retweet that, because then it's almost going to kind of be believable. If just regular, community members are, the rest of Twitter don't know, but we know. So we're kind of creating the drama with Octavia, which will play a part in the story down the line. So if Dom is a villain, and, Dom could be like, I'm just, for example, I know I'm not good at lore, but Dom would be like, screw you, Octavia. You screwed me over years ago, and something like that. And then some other community members are going to come in and be like, oh, I remember that, type of stuff. And it just builds and builds that way. That's how you're going to get the hype from the rest of the Twitter, from normal Twitter, because then they're going to think it's real, because they're seeing real people not knowing what's going on.
And I like what Tina's saying as well.
Yes, guys, about what Octavia could be. And I love that, because we are also recording this. So in terms of content direction, I'm pretty sure we've got many, many ways to go. I'm preparing the form right now, because I want to see also, I think it's super important to see if we can have Octavia's presence on Twitter Spaces also, and how that would be. We could use a voice changer, we could use AI maybe. But I think that's important. Like, if we want Octavia to have a genuine presence in the space at some point, let's say we can start, but I think it's inevitable for the account to be on Twitter Spaces and also be able to speak. So I'm doing with the form.
I don't actually think she needs to be able to speak, actually, because she just needs to be in the audience and react sometimes or something. Do you know what I mean?
No, but
and then actually doing
just,
kind of like
her voice as Rihanna.
Yeah, I was thinking recorded snippets, work really well, and that can form. But I kind of like this idea of, like some of the staff running the Everything Corp, and then having this opposite, one run by the Octavia, run by the community, and the community's reaction to stuff going on. Because that could be really cool, and so everything's kind of like balanced off. there's still that mystery to the community as well, because they don't know what Everything Corp's going to say that day or what they've uncovered. And it's kind of like a role play, because, you know, Everything Corp can put like a message out to say, oh, you know, our servers went down, you know, don't know why, they'll be up, you know, in a few, you know, X amount of time or something. And kind of like the reaction to that, or, you know, there could be something, you know, like you check on the website and something's changed on the website, you click on it, and then that's a mystery. And I think this is, you know, I think that play, that game, that alternate reality game can really come alive through that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Chewy. And what would be cool is if she tweets about that she's found out that she needs to be on Twitter to be able to start unraveling how to make the world a better place. But obviously she won't reveal that in the beginning, but it will start off with that sort of mystery. But she's on Twitter trying to find Everything Corp and it could be a play on our community. We as the founders community can come together and conspire and say, okay, today if she tweets, we all gonna say, who are you looking for? What are you doing here? Are you, like, how can we help? And then we then conspire again on Everything Corp's tweets, and yeah, just like Sid was saying, like create a bit of drama and mystery, and people are like, why? Or what's happening?
Well, this sounds like everything I just said.
Yeah, Junior, what you said
Guys,
was amazing.
Can I ask a question? It might not be very popular with you all, but what's the point? What do we want out of this as a community? Do we want to have fun and just entertain ourselves? Or do we want to use Octavia to promote creators' brand? And how is she going to do that if that's actually the goal here?
The drama. Like Sydney said, everybody likes drama. And if y'all staff people are Everything Corp and us were Octavia and just regular community members, like that's what's gonna play the role. Because I guarantee you, chill, if somebody sees me getting into a beef on Twitter with somebody, a lot of people is gonna come in because that's not me. I don't do beef. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna bring a lot of eyes.
Don't make Octavia. Yeah. Sorry, chill.
No, the reason I was asking is because I'm reading the comments as well, and Alan, for example, says that the more he thinks about Octavia, the more he leans to the side that she doesn't need a Twitter at all. He was also talking about the fact that this needs to play with the lore and like how does she have a phone and how does she have Twitter in the black and white city. I don't personally agree with that because I don't think it has to fit like, I don't think just because let's say our fictional city doesn't have Twitter or doesn't have Twitter in it, we cannot have a Twitter account. But I'm also thinking about, all right, what is the ultimate goal here for Octavia? You guys said like creating drama. So that means growing the account, make it popular and directing that attention to what we're building here. Right? I want to make sure that we're on the right side, because if not, and that's why Twitter space is super important for me. If not, it's just our own kind of little story here. We can keep it there, but it's a different approach.
I mean, I was thinking...
Yes, Mokish, sorry.
No worries. Like, because I agree with Alan in some point. Like, you do have to, I feel like you do have to, like, have it tie in with the lore at some point. So I am thinking, like, the way I was thinking about this whole Twitter presence was, like, Octavia's not even there under her real name. She has, like, a code name, like, I don't know, the 8th or the 8th child or the 8th person or something. And then, you know, she comes onto Twitter Spaces, says a few lines every space, or like every few spaces, like she comes in, she says something, like leave a code or leave something. And then you have the other side, you have Everything Corp with like a pre-recorded message, like this very monotone, like government message, like all the servers are down and blah, 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 blah. And at that point, you have it like tie in with the lore. Like, at the same point, you can utilize Octavia's Twitter to, you know, post a relic or post a pendant, post a new relic, post little pieces of the lore, and like grow the account that way so it keeps people interested. You could ask them questions, you could ask them like about the space, and more things like that. But that's the thing that I had in mind when we were talking about Octavia's Twitter.
Yeah, I'm following as well the conversation in the comments, and I see Katie kind of conversating with Alan. I just wanted to also bring you guys a counter that Alan kind of dropped in the chat, and they said, if it's current day Octavia, the story loses all its hype. If it's the moment she finds the relic, then that's where the story begins. But now you have to drag out the story to evolve with the lore, which also doesn't make sense unless she has limited access to the internet and Twitter. Otherwise, she'd be tweeting or responding non-stop, and the story will be exposed too quickly. Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there as well. I think also just check out the announcement channel if you are able to get involved with actively managing or not Octavia's account, because I want to kind of know also what's the availability from our community members on doing that, if in the end it's going to be to go forward with it. But I want to bring Alan's argument to the table as well, because he cannot get on the stage, and take it from there.
I got something for that. Now check
Go ahead.
this out. You
Go
said
ahead.
you want to open up a Founders Chat Discord, right, where we're basing it off the story. And then once when we talk about the story in the chat, right, now we carry that story onto Spaces, right? But we're just talking. So people who come in, but we got to make it sound really good on Spaces, because it's going to be a lore on Spaces. So if people come in and listen, they're like, well, who's this Octavia shit? Who are they talking about? And stuff like that. But you never really give nothing away. We're just talking what we talked about in a Founders Chat, but in a lower level, to make people be intrigued on the story itself. They're going to keep coming back trying to figure out who this Octavia person is. So, they're like fireside chats, fireside spaces. They're just quick little spaces. They're not going to be no 2-3 hour long spaces, 45 minutes to an hour long spaces to keep people on their toes guessing until the next week. And that's how you bring people in from the outside, is by talking about it on Spaces, but not really talking about anything, but just getting them intrigued.
Yeah, that in my mind, Junior, is a way to use Octavia's account to bring eyes on creators, and it requires a lot of effort. I'm not saying we don't have the staff to do that, because we've got 41 people just here, 40 people. So I'm down to go ahead and coordinate that and make sure that it happens. However, I really want us to think about this as well and take into consideration all the other arguments that have been brought to the table. I think we should have a vote. Just with our founding members. Also, I'm seeing Katie's comments in the chat as well. And I think this is important. How loyal are we staying to the lore? And I think this is the next step and a couple of action items from this stage. So first action item would be go to the announcement channel, fill in the form. And second action item would be settling on another either space or stage, maybe tomorrow or maybe do it next week early, to reveal what we've got to our funding members as the rest of the lore, and see the answer to this question that Kate is asking also in the chat. This is the question: how loyal are we staying to the lore? I think that's super important. Yeah, a lot of opinions. Please go ahead, guys, if you want to speak. We also have spaces in about 1 hour, and interestingly enough, I have a call with Super Spaces and the representative, because they want to give us access to a tool that they've built, which is using spaces, interactions, and activities to actually reward community members. And I'm super eager to see what they're talking about, because as we're ramping up the efforts to give out more pendants and get our funding members straight, and then start a campaign to actually expand beyond the 88 founding members using the pendants as these rewards that we give for community members. That's going to be super fun. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to have to drop off the stage. This is recorded. Please do stay on if you want to, because I'm going to have the whole recording. And the chat is going to stay here as well, because there are a lot of points of view in the chat that we'll need to collect. And please do fill in the form so that we kind of see also who's got the time to get involved. But yeah, I love what I'm hearing.
I think you might need to unmute DJ. I think he's trying to... Yeah.
Sorry, my friend. I muted you because you weren't hearing us. Now you can speak.
We heard
I
it,
use
guys.
violence, but...
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Now I'm muted, but
All right. Joe says that the shift change idea or only a certain time of the day that she can post makes more sense because of everything core monitoring. So that's with regards to the activity of the account, right? Like how many hours per day she could have access to Twitter, and that's going to answer that question, right? How loyal are we staying to the lore? So immediate next step for us on our side, let's start an event. Let's create an event. The sooner the better to go over
it
the
could
rest
be
of the
quite
lore.
interesting. It's quite interesting as well because technically we could actually control that as well, how long the access is with the TweetDeck. So if we control the account and then give access only to those that want access.
Are you using
the
TweetDeck,
Octavia.
Chewy?
Sorry?
I use
Do you use
TweetDeck for this
TweetDeck?
for sure.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
I would
Why?
not give access to more than at least 3 people to the Twitter account.
No, what
Yeah,
I'm
we
saying
can-
through TweetDeck.
Go ahead.
You use TweetDeck so you don't give away the password. You add people and then
Right.
you exclude people. You can
That's
also
the way
have
to use
groups.
a community,
get worried about it.
Twitter to use someone as a moderator to use it. Like, okay, some of the big Twitter accounts that have millions of followers, it's not always that person that's using it, and they have
Guys,
multiple
I don't think
moderators.
I don't think you
TweetDeck
have
is
to
what they
get
use.
into this. Please, let's leave this on me and the team. Like that's why we did the form and everything else. The managing of the account, security of the account, those are things you shouldn't concern yourselves with, especially at this point. We're managing accounts between a big team as well, so there's definitely gonna be management coming from us on that and involving the community members. That's why I dropped the form as well, because I want to know if we decide finally to go forward with this, who can we count on, create a communication channel with them, give them access in the way that we give access to all the other, team members that we have on our accounts. And there's definitely a way to contribute collectively to the content. That's why we have a channel also right now. I created a couple of minutes ago where we can talk just about Octavia's Twitter. So I'll talk with Sid and the team, and we'll announce soon when we can reveal the rest of the lore. We start from there. Please fill in the form. Stay on if you wish. I'm going to have to drop off, and I'll see you guys in 1 hour on Spaces. And we can talk more about Octavia's Twitter there, but also I've got some news on the Pendants campaign, how we're going to distribute them, what options do we have for that.
Hey, chill. I'm down to do the Twitter account, but I can't fill out the form because I don't have service and the website's not opening. I don't even know how I'm
Junior, are you going to be at the beach your entire life? Or are you going to get to, because I don't need your answer immediately, but the thing is that I do need to collect answers. Like, this is the problem. Otherwise, it's really hard for me to pick information up. And I'm not saying this with any bad heart, guys, as well, but I've had a lot of DMs too. And everything has to be a little bit more centralized. I'm losing my mind in DMs. We've got hundreds per day, which is absolutely crazy. So if you have any issues, just DM me and I'll fill it in for you. But DM me on Discord, please. Not on Twitter. On Twitter, it gets lost. And it's very freaking frustrating and hard because I want to respond to all of you guys, but sometimes it just takes ages. So, Junior, I know I can count on you to get involved. Let me know just in a DM if you cannot open the form. I'll send you a DM right now, so at least I have the chat, and I'll send you the questions and you answer to me in a DM.
I got it. It finally opened. I did it. We're all good.
All right, sir. Thank you for turning it off and on. It worked. I'll see you guys around. I'll see you on Spaces. Please continue to stay on stage if you want to. And thank you so much for coming in. I think we've got almost like 75% of the founding members were on stage today. No, not really, because there were a couple of team members. But really good turnout, guys. Thank you so much for making time for this.
Bye.
Hell yeah. Peace, Michael. We'll see you soon.
Oy vey.
Okay, so now what? Now listen, man, before we start all this, I mean, I really think, man, we got to work on the story. That's got to come first. I think the story got to come first before the dang on Twitter, so we could, be prepared.
So, Junior, so Artemis has developed more of the lore that we haven't released yet. So I would wait until then as well. So but yeah, because don't forget that we're having to kind of plan stuff in the background as well and things like that. So, but yeah, it will happen. I like what we discussed today as well, because I think it does kind of give a bit more kind of understanding how she will be able to access, let's say, the outside world and stuff like that, which is always plaguing my mind as well. So that's really good. And it could be for loads of reasons. Maybe Everything Corp has to, for resource reasons, access the outside world, and once a week or whenever, out of desperation, and it needs to remain open for that 1 hour. So that could be kind of like part of the lore and stuff like that. So I think there's quite a few ideas, and I'm sure there'll be enough for kind of Artemis and the team to kind of develop further as well. So on
And I
top
get
of
what
what's already been
Alan
done.
is saying about like the story might be told too soon, but there are so many in-betweens that you can add to a Twitter, and especially you can play with Octavia a lot, and she can even like just maybe say her first tweet could be, I managed to get my hands on a cell phone. I only have access to it a couple of days a week or for an hour a day or whatever it is. And the next tweet could be with, I was told Twitter is where I'll find my answers. And then the next tweet could like slowly.
Yeah.
It's about this girl on a mission, and her being the typical influencer will defeat the purpose of her fighting everything Corp. She needs to be this girl completely different from what you see Web3 girls to be or social media girls to be.
Yeah, because she's not really kind of like, she's not, I agree with you also about the influencer thing. She's not an influencer. She's kind of in this gray world, and she's just kind of like, she's had to survive, basically. So if you imagine somebody that's just been kind of surviving on something, who has access to social media, her access to that will be very different to, let's say, somebody else. So
listen, Chewy, Angie, check this out. What if if Octavia is old like Titanic, she's had the dang on cell phone for a long time, but Everything Corp, that's how she got the phone, and she's hid it the whole time. But Everything Corp opens up these airwaves like once a week so they can communicate with other jurisdictions, right? Because being that Everything Corp wants to keep their world locked down, all gray and black, but they still need a if we want to if United States wants to contact China, right? So they open it up for like 2 hours per week so they can do their transmissions back and forth. And Octavia figured that out, that they actually do open up transmissions, and that's when she tweets. You know what I'm saying? So she has like a 2-hour block or a couple-hour block every week to to do whatever she wants on the phone while Everything Corp is talking to China.
The plot thickens.
Yeah, so definitely, I agree. It's out of necessity or something. No, I don't think it needs to be overly complicated. I think it's just kind of like, sometimes it's nice having kind of like these kind of, how is she doing that kind of thing?
The backstory is simple enough, but also deep enough to make it an interesting plot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For the original idea.
So true.
Hold on, let me tell Wappy this real quick. Wappy or whoever wants to get on stage, listen, go to the people's profiles that have their cameras open and just close the camera and close everybody's camera, and then go, and then you can accept the invite and get on stage, and then you can open it back up.
I can simply close mine to make it easy.
I'm just saying, there's more than one person that has it instead of having everybody do it. Just go to people's profiles and let them close it.
Yeah. I just feel there's really a lot you can do with Octavia's Twitter. You could tell the lore and have a lot of in-between. I really wanted to have something prepared before I came on today, but I just didn't have enough time to prepare something. But if any of you in the chats, and I I liked a lot of what Nopish had to say as well, of like secret codes and things. Creates a lot of mystery. So if anybody has any ideas of how they would imagine a Twitter to be for Octavia, do a few like intro tweets, and if the first 10 always leads to the next 20. So if you have like 3, 4, 5 intro tweets, and we can just see how the theme could be for her Twitter, and then we can just brainstorm and mix and match. I think you slowly start developing a storyline.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Including the lore. Yeah.
I think also we've got to be conscious as well about respecting kind of like the work that's gone into the lore as well. So
exactly.
That's something that I'm still kind of trying to get my head around how we I don't want to use the word control. Actually, no, I will use the word control because I think that's a good word, especially with Everything Corp. But basically constraining as well, because we, especially, because Artemis has already established that she's 19,
Yeah.
She's also got all these, and we just have to respect the fact that, everything that she's kind of built so far and the stuff that you guys don't know about, like basically,
Right.
we've just
We have
got
to keep
to
that
be
same theme that she's got.
yeah. So it's a bit more like if anyone played Dungeons and Dragons, like the dungeon master basically, the game master basically tells you who you are, what you're doing,
Right.
and then
or
what your your parameters, and then you decide what your actual character building
And
is
Artemis
based
is
on
the
that
game
as well.
master.
Exactly.
That's cool. Yeah. So I agree with you. I feel like Artemis's storyline has been so beautiful, and I can't wait to see the rest unfold. And we should definitely use the lore. This is the whole reason why I thought of the Twitter for Artemis, because how do we tell our lore beautifully? Okay, yes, we can have it in a document, but for people to actually live in it and experience it with her, it could be nice with Twitter, like her saying, I wanted to buy a pair of shoes today that I needed, but I don't have, or something, or how she just on a journey of wanting today I wanted to buy a pair of shoes, but I didn't have enough, or
but
whatever.
that could work really. Yeah, that could work really well, because what can happen is that Artemis might be able to, us, the team, can drop into the Octavia kind of Discord an image of the shoes, with a small descriptor, and just say, Octavia just received this. Yeah, Octavia just received this today. Tweet as your heart contents. Do you know what I mean? So, and you already have the parameters, you already have the constraints, you already, so then you can just go forward with that as well. So I think that's kind of, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm saying you can have so many tweets without telling the story too soon. So many. You can tweet about the coin that fell in the floorboard, and she can say, I just dropped my last coin, or a coin that I really needed to buy my shoes in the floorboard. I don't know how I'm going to get it. And the next day she can say, I managed to open the floorboard, but I found something more than a coin. Like you don't have to tell the whole lore. You can have just bits and pieces, but still respect Artemis's craft for telling the story. Yeah.
I think if I just go back to the basis of the lore and the whole story, and as far I'm not entirely in the loop because I don't know what you guys already discussed in earlier meetings. But if I look at the situation of the world, right, E-Corp has took over everything and took the color out of everything. If I then try to find ways to match it in some sort of example of direction, I'm almost thinking in like The Walking Dead, right? There's nothing, only communities, little communities, left and right, that have connections with each other through this seldom and rare radios that are still up. Saying that, you could like, if she's the start of change into like colorful reaching out through the loopholes that E-Corp left behind, I am engaged in another project that has like a biologist looking for strange game characters, and she pops into the jungle and then comes back every now and then, launching bits and pieces of information that you then can attach to, I don't know, quests or tasks for community to keep interactive and attractive. Without going too deep into details yet on how she has to come out or how she has to be detailed. And that way, I think you come across a little bit what Alan said before, that you don't need to go into speed things up too fast, and that I think the main priority to start is to set out a timeline. Like, when do you want the entire lore to be out and known, and how much do you want to do as a community to keep it interactive for new members to come in, and give Octavia a kind of role that she can like drop all these lures for outsiders to come in and for us to play with, to come out with the right tweets and information.
I only have one question. Like, I understand what we're talking about. I just don't understand, how do we get to the point where people are actually going to notice this account? Like,
is we going to, as a collective, start asking questions and retweeting or whatever?
Well,
I imagine part of it is kind of like going to be exactly what I said before, kind of like it's got to be something dramatic enough that comes from the account to have that sort of attention grabbing thing, and we've got a few ideas on what that can be, but it would be kind of like the reaction of everyone else towards that as well.
Well,
So,
the project that I'm in that is using an account that's called Dr. Geraldine, and they are creating a game, right, with a metaverse game kind of thing. And they dropped it from like the main account, this game character that was looking for these game creatures, and dropped from the main account and the main group of people that the whole lore and the whole thing started. Like, oh, we got special news, and they did announcements like what we are doing, so we could use like chill spaces for announcing that something is happening and that there's a story coming out and everything, and then you can launch the account through like the founders, the co-host, the host, and everybody that's always listening, so that you immediately get some sort of traction, and you could even say like, listen, you get a relic for it if you retweet it, and that way people start noticing you have this this thing going on.
Alan said,
Yeah, Chewy, will you read that? Alan's
yeah.
Okay.
The law leads up to the phone discovery hours before her availability every week or every other week. The creator account publishes what's been going on since the last tweet. Once her connection dropped, she had more questions than answers and didn't know who or where all these people on the other end of the app is. The Twitter on her phone only has access to tweets 33 characters or less, the most common tweet length. This drags out the story and limits the response and access. I'm not worried about dragging out the story, because I think we've got a few ideas on that as well. But also, like, no, I like what you wrote, by the way, because it kind of sums up exactly, exactly what I think should happen, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I agree. Like, I liked what you said afterwards, actually, more. Also, like, creator equals narrator. Octavia is kind of the limited access and kind of like acting out, and then Evil Corp is kind of maybe a bit more random, because it's a reactionary thing, isn't it? It used to be a mystery thing.
Yeah, so it starts off with her discovering a phone and trying to figure it out. Then trying to figure out that it led her to Twitter. That's where she'll start getting her answers. What is this? How does she manage, like Alan was saying. Then from there, she slowly starts connecting with the creators, and then the creators are there to help her. And then from there, over time, she'll become a bit more tech savvy, and then she'll start saying, hello, my new friends, today X, Y, and Z happened. I can't be on my phone, or blah, blah, blah. But Mer Angel also had like a cute tweet. I think we kind of on the same page, but everybody's little stories mixing. I can see it. I can envision what Octavia's Twitter is going to look like.
Yeah.
Already.
Alan says, the other Alan, Black Bond, would it be an idea if the creator account announces messages from the Octavia and this avoids a second Twitter account for Octavia? I don't know about that. I don't know. The thing is, I don't really have an issue, me personally, about the Octavia account not gaining an incredible amount of traction.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Because it's very easy to kind of like take a screenshot of her tweet and tweet it out from everywhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm really, so the message will get out there. You know, the message will be maybe captured also on the website. You know, that there will be loads of media to kind of do that. You know, I think it's a interesting idea if there was like community YouTube videos done from a fan base point of view, you know, which could actually capture the story as well. So I think there's loads of kind of like, you know, stuff that can capture that, and you know, and to do it. And I'm trying to think, like, actually, what's the Sappy Seals? They've got like the merchant. Anyone remember what that account is called?
Is it not
The Merchantman? Is that it?
Is it not the Zuki?
No, I'm thinking of the Sappy Seals has a similar one, but not many people. That's the thing. Not many people know about it. But it was
so that's actually where I got the idea from. Was from Azuki. But,
the Azuki. Yeah.
Yeah. But
like I'm just what I'm trying to say is the fact that, I mean, Azuki is a bit different because it directly has an NFT collection, attached to you know, like to Bobu, doesn't it? It's got like the ERCs, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an NFT,
Yeah. Whereas the traveling merchant, isn't that it? The Sappy Seals traveling merchant. Anyway, traveling the merchant, they used it for the ordinals, and you had to kind of complete these tasks to then get accepted on, you know, to be able to kind of like mint an ordinal, essentially, Sappy Seals ordinal, and but again, the thing is, it was tweeted out from the main account. It was tweeted out by loads of people, and you know, and they made it perfectly clear as well that anyone that engaged with the game, they didn't have to own a Sappy Seal. It was just kind of like for fun as well. And I think it was kind of like an opportunity for like WAB and the dev team to play as well, because I think they really wanted to just try do ordinals and stuff and try something different. So it was a great kind of like little experiment. But I think what was interesting about it, everyone that was interested in ordinals and everyone that wanted to engage in it knew about it. Do you know what I mean? Or at least I think they did, you know, even though it doesn't, I seem to be the only person that knows about this, which is really weird. Unless someone can put into the chat that it's not the case, but yeah, I don't think that account is very big. Actually, if I check it now, I don't think it's a huge account. So I'm really not worried about that.
You know what can also like get a bit of traction is when you when she goes, I managed to get my hand on a phone. I'm not saying this is what the tweet must be, but something on these lines that she's like saying to us, I've got only a few minutes to reach out or whatever it is. And then we as a community, people are going to start wondering, we comment, we go, are you okay? What's going on? You know, and then people are going to start wondering, why are we asking this person if she's okay?
Yeah.
Or asking her what's wrong? And
Hey,
we can build complete streets around it, and people will be very I have to go because I think my food's burning, but I'll catch you guys later.
All right. See you later. Have fun. Thanks, Angeliki.
Thanks, Chu. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Dave, I think you were... Can you talk?
I was
You were
trying
rugging.
to. I'm not sure if it's actually working or not.
Oh, could you hear Angeliki?
I could hear
Oh,
her.
okay.
Yeah. No, I was actually trying to reply to her. I was trying to figure out if you guys could actually hear this little sound sample. I can't drop it in any chats. I'll just see if I can play it here. Hang on.
I love your voice, Dave, but every time you start talking and you're partially rugged, it's like an AI on steroids. It's like really scary.
Sorry, Dave. Play that again because I didn't hear it. I couldn't hear it.
Yeah. No worries. Hang on.
I found one. Oh my god, I finally found one. It's old, but it works.
That's pretty awesome. Is that...
So I got goosebumps. If you ask me, I got goosebumps. That's like her fighting a wallet.
That is absolutely so can you make us say anything you want?
Yeah, man. It's just an AI service. I've tried to find a really good AI voiceover service for a long time, and I found a really good one. Yeah, this
Play
was
that again because that was bloody good. That was very clear.
I found one. Oh my god, I finally found one. It's old, but it works.
Holy
That's
shit!
crazy.
Holy shit, man!
Fucking bananas.
I knew Dom would get excited. That is, I like that.
I literally, I'm getting goosebumps right now. Like the errors at the end of it. Oh my god!
Yeah, we need to hint it, right?
Yeah.
Dave, can you send it over, please?
Little Miss Music is also a voiceover artist as well.
If we can
We've
get
got
it,
nice.
better.
I think we've got some really amazing, gorgeous voices for a really good second project. By the way, just saying. Yeah, I really like that. So how long does it take you to kind of get to say something?
Seconds. So I just have to type it in the box.
What can we try to get her to say? Let's do it as if it was like the first, a scenario. She's tweeting out that she's just bought some shoes and they're a bit boring. Maybe I don't know. They're grey, dull. They're from the.
I have a more.
What do you mean the world has color?
Sorry.
Just let me play the second sample. Hang on, it's just a bit more complete one.
I found one. Oh my god, I finally found one. It's old, but it works. A cell phone, but Everything Corp has the airwaves locked down. I can only reach out when they broadcast. They're everywhere. Please.
Bro, this is insane.
Oh shit.
Hey, do you mind dropping that one? And I'm just going to drop it to. Can you add the zzz at the end as well to that? And then I was just going to. Dom, I'm thinking I'm just going to drop it into the defined chat. Just someone just produce this just as a
5 seconds.
Chewy, can I drop something in your DM on Twitter?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because I now hear this, and a friend of mine is actually doing this on imagery for another project, making lively AI-generated art with voiceover programs in it.
Cool. Just trying to find the channel. I really enjoyed that. That was pretty awesome.
Okay, I'm good to send. I think I might need you to add me as a friend on Discord so I can send it to you.
Cool. Sorry about that. Yeah.
But seriously, can you imagine like being on a space like in the middle of the talk show and you hear like this some kind of announcement noise and everybody's just like, you know, those eyes or those ears are all going open and you get that message. That is amazing. That is going to be so much fun. Like I can see it.
Yeah.
You haven't, has anybody of you ever been on a spaces of bebops?
Yes. Yeah. They use I know how they set up as well. It's all on BlueStacks that they're set up.
That what you have controlled yourself, Napash just said. Like if you get an announcement, bebops is doing exactly that. I don't know how they set it up. Chewy does, but
Yeah,
if you
yeah, I
are
know.
sitting in the spaces, all replies are AI generated.
I'm just going to read what Lil Miss Music said. If you want Octavia to be a robot, it's perfect. I'm sorry, I'm not into it. It's just not melodic at all. Okay, maybe the tone of the voice is okay. It's clear, but the delivery is not there. Maybe I'm too critical. I'm sorry, forgive me. No. Your opinion matters. Everyone's matters. I don't think it's bad. I just think I love the idea of having kind of like a voice actor and stuff like that. It's just like in terms of it would definitely need a lot more coordination and stuff. I know that some of the software you can actually pump your own voice into it to then deliver how you want it as well, which is what I was doing kind of like with the fake news stuff and when I was messing around in spaces and stuff. But yeah, it is possible to kind of like, I think to get the melodic side, that would probably need to go into something like auditions and then mess around with it if you were going to do. I don't know if you can do it purely from AI, but maybe that's something Dave can explore as well.
I mean, I can tell you that the voice sampled AIs do sometimes sound a bit more natural. I mean, that's how I did the Trump ones. When you remember, if you recall, when I did these Trump things, they sound more natural than the like the pure AI ones because they're just too clean, you know. They're just too good.
Yeah, because the ones I've been producing, you've really got to play with the lingo. Like the number of times I've kind of had to change the lingo and stuff just because like I've noticed that my AI, when I do Elon Musk, he can't say Twitter. So I've got to write Twitter in a different way so that he actually says Twitter, not Twitter, like this, which you can't hear. And it's quite interesting, kind of like just playing around with this pronunciations so that, you know, you're actually hearing, I suppose, the melody, to those as well.
Yeah, you have to type like a person rather than typing like you would normally when you write. It's quite strange.
I think that's the entire beauty of playing with the AI. I heard that the voiceover AIs, you can practically make them sound like humans. I dropped a tweet in your DM, Chewy. But also if you start prompting like the AI in combination with other AI programs, like you could even use your own kids to write something up or say something, or start typing messages and then translate it into, for example, ChatGPT, and then transform that into a speech AI. And that way you can start playing around, making it sound like certain ages and go into the dynamics of the person. But I think that if we go that way, you are getting into practically into sound effects and movie making. There's a lot of time and effort going to be in that.
Yeah. Well, we're here for the long run, so you know, time is not massively of the essence.
Well, if I wanna fully enjoy it, then I need to quit my day job and find a full creator's income to make sure that time is not of the essence. Because for me, it is at the moment.
Yeah. No, I think no, but there is going to be. I think it will be interesting once we start seeing some of the stuff from the law and start piecing stuff together as well. And but yeah, I'm kind of excited about listening to the rest of the lore and speculating on some of the stuff, especially kind of like sessions like this afterwards as well, about what those things can mean and stuff, and kind of excited to try and get that onto the website as well, so that we've got the consistent lore on the website, with the updates and things like that. So yeah, but yeah, I kind of I need to listen to that sample kind of like by myself as well, to kind of like listen and see how kind of like that taps in
By
as well.
yourself, you say?
No, but I mean like without noise, without thoughts and stuff like that. Just and but yeah, I like if it can be as real as possible, I prefer that, definitely, 100%. Chewy wants some alone time with the 19-year-old Octavia. Jesus Christ, Alan. No. So I've missed quite a few comments as well. I'm just reading through as well. T-Bone says, I like the idea of utilizing AI somehow with Octavia. She can take on our ideas and suggestions for a story and then add in some her own stuff too. I mean, it is possible, like, especially with the tools available, to actually do character building and stuff. But the thing is, because we've already got kind of like, this is what I'm sort of coming back to, we've got to kind of respect the lore as well, and to just make sure that we've got some constraints, and if there was a way to kind of start tapping in those constraints and parameters and have kind of like an AI kind of thing, then cool. But I like the human aspect as well, because I think there's going to be sort of like enough AI intervention for, I think, at least one lifetime. So, but yeah, we'll see how it pans out. Little Miss Music says, I agree, maybe she has a pet AI robot. I would absolutely love that. One of my favorite games is set so basically it's oh God, I'm trying to remember the name now. Jesus, what's it called? I can see the characters and everything. What's it called again? So this game is basically it's like alternate reality where in the 1950s, like, the nuclear bombs go off and stuff, and you play this person in later in life and stuff. But what's interesting, all the designs haven't really changed from the 1950s, but they've discovered kind of like fusion, stuff like that. So there's like robots.
I got to drop off for a few. I'll be
forever.
listening in a second, guys.
Cool. And yeah, it was a awesome game. I can't believe I've forgotten the name. I'm trying to remember now. If anyone knows what I'm talking about. It's not Far Cry. What's it called? I can see everything to do with it.
What game?
Oh God, it's like, as basically if nuclear bombs went off in the 1950s, and it's kind of like Fallout. Thank you, Jesus Christ. It's in the name, isn't it? Bombs falling. Yeah. So Fallout. I can't believe.
BitBoy,
yeah,
or what's it called?
BitBoy. Yeah, BitBoy and everything. And it's like, if you've never seen this game, like, it's absolutely fascinating. I mean, it's basically you're in a role-playing kind of sense, and you're kind of walking through this wasteland and stuff, and you're meeting different characters and different kind of tribes and sect, and interactions with different things. You're able to kind of build your own house with kind of turrets and stuff, but everything is basically as if in the 1950s, like, the design aspect never changed. So you've got these TVs like with fusion cells in them and stuff, but they've got like 1950s kind of like appearance and stuff. And yeah, and there is kind of like robots, and you can actually have a robot companion as well. And I kind of absolutely loved that aspect of it as well. But yeah, that's yeah, BitBoy. I can't see GIFs at the moment. No, I can see that.
We also whenever we were discussing about the lore and the whole team and vibe, one of the things that like came up into my mind a lot was also like BioShock.
Yeah, BioShock.
Especially the part where it's like very steampunkish, Art Deco and stuff. I don't remember which part it is. Was it?
Just looking at some of the other images, but what's also cool is that the person that you play wears this kind of computer on his arm, and he's able to kind of like use it for different things. Like it's got a map, but again, everything's kind of like as if 1950s, so your screen is kind of like monochrome and stuff, but it can do all these cool things, and again, the battery never runs out and stuff like that. Yeah, that's it. Bull. But yeah, it's pretty cool, and yeah, and so I remember when 76, so Fallout 76 came out, and I got on with a friend, and because there's elements of kind of multiplayer, there was kind of like a race to try and set off these nukes. So basically you set off these nukes and they blow up this region, and when you go into a region, there's like boss level kind of like creatures that you kill, so you get more resources and stuff. And we were racing to try and be the first to kind of set off these nuclear bombs, so very limited sleep, trying, with a team to kind of grind as hard as possible, work out the code at the end and stuff, and then it happened. All of a sudden the sirens went off and we knew we had lost because somebody had actually reached it. Amazingly, we were on the same server that the first team found it, and I remember the sirens going on and going, shit, what area have they hit and stuff. Is like, what area are they going to hit? And the only way to check was on your Hit-Boy. And so I kind of checked the computer and stuff, and it was like we were in the zone. We're like, oh shit, what happened? Do you die? What happened? It's like we didn't know and stuff. So basically, we were like legging it out of the area. And I remember basically, like when the bombs hit, we were standing kind of like somewhere, and it was a moment where we were running and we stopped, we heard it fall, and we just turned around and there was this big mushroom. And it was just like this wow moment, like in game, like someone had set off these nuclear bombs. It was just absolutely insane. And the scene, I just remember just standing there in absolute awe at this game, going, oh my God, this game is awesome. And I just couldn't believe like how, like, we just we couldn't find any of our own friends to kind of like play this game. And I think it was because there was a lot of elements in it that were quite complicated. That's the scene that I've just posted of one of the explosions, and you can see like some of the people kind of like standing around. You can see a guy in one of the Titan suits as well, and that's the suit that you can wear. It's great for fighting bosses and stuff like that.
If we continue talking about this, people are gonna think we're absolute freaks.
Probably no, but I think what's interesting is kind of like the game, like the game level of stuff, like the gamification as well. But I think when I start thinking about lore, it's kind of the experience, isn't it? And understanding kind of like what, how you experience different things. Yeah. So no, that's Fallout 76. So it's more of an online there's other players in the environment as well. And yeah, that's another scene that's probably kind of like, so you can see the Titan suit that he's wearing. I think it's called this Titan suit. At least I think that's what it, or biosuit or whatever it's called. And then on the right side, you can see all the tasks that you still need to do. So like, you know, some of them are kind of mundane tasks. Go talk to this person, he'll give you X, go and do this, blah, blah, blah. Other ones are like, go and kill this person. And, you know, those can be quite tough and stuff. And then it shows how much ammo you've got different weapons that you can use, and then basically your core battery as well, because you need to fuel your suit that you're wearing as well. But yeah. So the game is Fallout 76, but that, like, as a storyline and as a kind of core thing, in terms of storyline and how they built their lore and stuff around the game as well, is actually awesome, absolutely awesome. So like Fallout, in terms of the storyline, actually came out before The Last of Us. And then The Last of Us kind of like also an amazing storyline. But again, as a series, I'm still not sure about it, because I've played the game and experiencing the game like firsthand, in my opinion, is a different experience. It's a bit like, I think, in a traditional kind of sense of kind of reading a book compared to kind of watching the film, you know. It's that kind of debate, I think. It's like, you know, but for me, the game was just so amazing. Like, you know, The Last of Us, that actually maybe watching the film kind of went, yeah, it's okay, kind of thing, you know. But yeah. Yeah. Happy memories. Yeah. And did you ever play Fallout, Dom?
I'm just picturing you playing that game.
Picturing me playing the game.
For those that don't know, Chewy is actually a huge gamer. So
I used to be. I'm not as much anymore. No, I used to be very into.
Once a gamer, always a gamer. Okay. I literally don't play games right now, but I still consider myself a gamer.
I tried to go pro gaming, but it just never happened for me.
I had like let's say like an 8-month stint. That actually I got paid a little bit to play for a team, so that was fun.
Yeah, no, it's good fun. It's stress. The worst part is managing an esports team. That is more stress, especially when your top player doesn't turn up and you have to take his place.
Yeah,
that is painful. But yeah, we still came second, but I'm still upset. But there you go.
Chewy, I sent you a question in the alpha channel.
Oh, I had to think there for a minute. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go anyway in a bit, but
yeah, guys, let's see each other on Founders Edition Spaces, which are starting in 20 minutes. And yeah,
100%.
100%. All right, so I'm pulling the trigger, right?
Let me just check.
Yeah, just check the charts. Anyway, guys,
no, but
see each other.
I meant in traits and etc. But I'll just check.
Yeah,
because I'm kind of surprised the price, to be honest. Very surprised.
Yeah. Okay, guys. See ya each other on Spaces in 20 minutes. It was a lovely stage. I love the brainstorming, and I think we're gonna continue on Spaces as well. You know?
Oh yeah, and Trapdogs, did I finish the game? Yes, I did finish the game, because we did set off the nuclear weapons in the end and stuff like that. But the game, because it's multiplayer, you continue. Now, Fallout 4, Vegas, and all those ones, I finished every single one. Yeah. So I've finished every single Fallout I finished. And then when they released 76, it's multiplayer, so it just goes on forever and stuff. You get cool shit with it, stuff like that. I think either I or my teammate were the first person to get the Coca-Cola Titan suit, though. So we actually uncovered that it existed, essentially. So yeah. But that's my only claim to fame in Fallout. But yeah, awesome game. Right, see you guys on space.
You say you uncovered that. For me, as a non-gamer, that's absolutely nuts. That you spend so many time. And I said it's not personally you alone. Like I heard that. I see that my kids do that in like.
Yeah, but I used to stream. I had a community. I used to run a community. I used to stream, and I used to organize the esports stuff as well. So yeah, so I was quite embedded.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay,
yeah, it became beyond a hobby, to be honest. But yeah, but there you go.
Then it makes sense. Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
All right, see you guys later. Have a good evening. If I don't see you later,
Yeah.
Don't speak to you later. Bye bye.